Hey there, Dream Explorers. Ready to dive deep.
Oh yeah, always ready.
This time we're taking on Dreaming Yourself Awake by B. Alan Wallace.
That's a good one, a real classic.
It's all about lucid dreaming and Tibetan dream yoga, blending modern psychology with ancient Buddhist practices.
Yeah, trying to unlock new understandings of consciousness and even the nature of reality itself.
Exactly. So, first things first, what exactly is lucid dreaming again?
It's basically knowing you're dreaming while you're in the dream,
Oh, wow. I can only imagine the possibilities.
like flying through the sky.
Having conversations with dream characters, creating entire worlds.
The potential is immense.
So cool. But Wallace makes it clear that lucidity isn't just about having these cool dream adventures, right?
Right. It's a skill that takes training.
Like any other discipline.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. So where do we even begin?
Wallace really stresses the importance of a calm and stable mind.
Hmm.
It's a foundation for both lucid dreaming and dream yoga. That's where shamatha meditation comes in.
Shamatha meditation. Huh. That's interesting. I always thought of meditation as something for like monks on mountaintops.
Right.
How does that even relate to dream control?
It's all about mental fitness.
Oh, I like that.
Think about it. Have you ever tried to focus on a task when your mind is racing with 1,000 thoughts?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
It's almost impossible, right?
Pretty much.
Same goes for dreams. A scattered mind makes it super hard to recognize those subtle dream signs,
Uh-huh.
or to remember your intentions, or even to prolong those moments of lucidity,
Right.
which are so precious.
So shamatha is like building those mental muscles we need to
Exactly.
become those skilled dream navigators.
Yeah.
But there are 10 stages of shamatha.
Right.
Do I really need to master all 10 before I can even try to have a lucid dream?
Not at all. Even the early stages can have a huge impact on your dream practice.
Okay, good to know.
For instance, the stage of settling the mind involves training your attention to rest naturally on the breath.
Okay.
This cultivates stillness and clarity, which allows you to become more aware of your mental state, both in waking life and in dreams.
Okay, so it's like training my mind to be more present, more focused.
Exactly.
I can see how that would be helpful,
For sure.
especially for recognizing those dream signs.
Precisely. Those signs are like clues whispering, hey, you're dreaming.
Ooh, I like that.
They could be anything,
Okay.
from recurring themes to bizarre events, or even just a feeling that something is off.
Got it.
The more you cultivate that mindful awareness through shamatha, the more likely you are to catch those cues.
Those subtle cues.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not just about the techniques for inducing lucid dreams.
Right.
It's about preparing the mind
Exactly.
to be receptive to those dream experiences.
It's a holistic approach that combines mental training with specific techniques.
That makes a lot of sense. Speaking of techniques, I'm really curious about the dream journal.
Oh, yeah?
Wallace seems to think it's really crucial.
It's like becoming a detective of your own mind.
Ooh, I like that.
By keeping track of your dreams, you start to notice patterns, recurring symbols, those little oddities,
We miss.
yeah, that often slip past our waking awareness.
Right?
These become your personal dream signs,
Ah.
the keys to unlocking lucidity.
So it's about paying attention to those details that might seem insignificant at first.
Right.
It's like those crime dramas where the detective notices a tiny scratch on a doorknob and that ends up cracking the whole case.
That's a great analogy. And once you've identified those dream signs, you can use them to trigger lucidity.
Okay, cool.
For example, let's say you often dream about flying penguins.
Okay.
Next time you see one, even in your waking life, you can ask yourself, wait a minute, are those penguins really flying? Maybe I'm dreaming.
That's a fun image. So it's about training yourself to question your perceptions,
Yeah,
both in dreams and in waking life.
exactly. And that brings us to another powerful technique, reality testing.
Reality testing. Okay, what's that?
It's a simple but effective way to bridge the gap between waking and dreaming. Throughout the day, you just perform little checks,
Okay.
like try to push your finger through your palm or rereading the same line of text.
Okay.
In dreams, things don't always behave as they should.
Right.
So if your finger suddenly passes through your hand,
Ooh.
or the words on the page keep changing, you'll know you're likely in dreamland.
Okay. Yeah, that's fascinating. It's like planting those little mental flags to guide you through the dream landscape.
Exactly. Wallace shares this great example from Stephen LaBerge, a pioneer in lucid dreaming research.
Okay.
LaBerge noticed that the numbers on clocks often changed in his dreams, so he made a habit of checking clocks frequently throughout the day. Eventually, this habit carried over into his dreams, and when the numbers shifted, he instantly knew he was dreaming.
Oh, that's so cool. It's like using those everyday actions to create a bridge between your waking and dreaming minds.
Exactly. And then there's another technique called MILD, which stands for Mnemonic Induction of Lucid Dreams.
MyLD. Okay.
It's like setting a mental alarm clock.
A mental alarm clock. How do you do that?
Essentially, you intentionally focus on the intention to recognize that you're dreaming as you fall asleep. You might repeat a phrase to yourself like, I'm dreaming, or visualize yourself becoming lucid in the dream.
Oh, okay.
It's like programming your mind to become aware.
Okay, so it's about setting that clear intention before you even drift off.
Right.
It's like planting a seed in your subconscious mind.
Exactly. And it's especially effective when combined with those dream signs and reality checks we talked about earlier.
Right.
It creates a multi-layered approach to inducing lucidity.
That makes sense. So we've got the dream journal, reality testing, and MILD.
Right.
What about those times when you wake up in the middle of the night and then fall back asleep?
Oh, yeah.
Are those just lost opportunities for lucidity?
Not at all. Wallace actually says those moments are prime time for lucidity.
Oh, really?
Calls them DILDs, or dream-initiated lucid dreams.
Okay.
You basically try to re-enter the dream you just woke up from, but this time with awareness.
So it's like hitting the pause button on a movie and then rewinding to watch a scene again, but this time you're in the scene.
That's a great way to put it. And there's also wild wake-initiated lucid dreams,
Okay.
which involves waking up intentionally, maybe reading something dream-related, and then slipping back into a lucid dream.
Ooh, so many ways to hack our sleep cycle. It's like we have this whole toolkit of techniques to explore. But what about Tibetan dream yoga?
Right.
How is that different from lucid dreaming?
Well, Tibetan dream yoga takes those principles of lucid dreaming and weaves them into a deeper philosophical and spiritual framework.
Okay.
It's rooted in the Buddhist concept of emptiness.
Emptiness. Does that mean like nothing exists?
Not exactly. It's a little more nuanced than that. Emptiness in the Buddhist sense doesn't mean that things don't exist. It means they lack inherent independent existence. They arise from causes and conditions, much like the objects and characters in our dreams.
Oh, I'm starting to see the connection here. So just as dream objects are fleeting and insubstantial, dream yoga suggests that even our waking reality might be less solid than we think.
Precisely. It encourages us to question our assumptions about what is real and to recognize the dreamlike nature of our experience, both in dreams and in waking life. Think about a rainbow for a moment.
A rainbow. Okay, what does that have to do with dream yoga?
Well, a rainbow appears solid, even tangible, right?
yeah.
But it's actually just an interplay of light and water droplets.
Hmm.
Similarly, dream yoga helps us to see that our own sense of self, our thoughts, emotions, and even our physical body might be just as insubstantial, just as dependent on causes and conditions.
Whoa, that's a powerful image. It really makes you question those taken for granted assumptions we have about reality.
Right.
So how does this concept of emptiness relate to the actual practices of dream yoga?
Dream yoga utilizes the dream state as a training ground to gain insights into the nature of reality and to awaken to our true nature. It sees dreams as a direct path to experiencing this concept of emptiness firsthand.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but how do we actually do dream yoga? Are we talking about like levitating in our dreams or something?
It could be just as amazing as that, but it also involves a lot of inner work.
Okay.
Tibetan Buddhism talks about 3 levels of consciousness: the psyche, the substrate consciousness, and primordial consciousness.
3 levels of consciousness. Okay, let's break that down. What exactly are those?
The psyche is our everyday mind,
Okay.
our thoughts, emotions, and perceptions. It's the level of awareness we're most familiar with.
Right.
Then there's the substrate consciousness,
Right.
a deeper level that holds karmic imprints and shapes our experiences even across lifetimes. Think of it as the underlying code that influences how our dreams and waking life unfold.
So the substrate consciousness is like the operating system that runs beneath the surface, shaping our perceptions and experiences.
That's a great analogy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's primordial consciousness, which is like the pure awareness,
Okay.
the ultimate reality, the goal of enlightenment.
Oh, wow.
It's the source of wisdom, compassion, and all those qualities we strive for.
Wow, that's getting pretty deep. So how does dream yoga help us tap into these different levels of consciousness?
It uses a combination of daytime and nighttime practices.
Okay.
During the day, you can train in seeing your own body as dreamlike, lacking that solid inherent reality that we often ascribe to it. There's also deity visualization, an advanced practice where you imagine yourself as a deity representing qualities you want to cultivate.
Deity visualization. That sounds pretty intense.
It can be, But it's a powerful way to work with your mind and to cultivate those positive qualities.
Right.
And then at night, it's all about setting the intention to recognize the dream state as you fall asleep.
So it's similar to that Mile D technique, but with a more spiritual focus.
Exactly. And once you're lucid in the dream, the real fun begins.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Dream yoga encourages you to manipulate the dream environment,
Okay.
like transforming a scary monster into a beautiful flower
Whoa.
or flying through the sky. But it's not just about having cool dream powers. It's about using those experiences to gain insights into the nature of reality and to awaken to your true potential.
Okay, now I'm really starting to see how dream yoga takes lucid dreaming to a whole new level. But it also sounds pretty challenging. What if I encounter fear or nightmares in my dreams?
That's a valid concern. As you delve deeper into the substrate, consciousness, all sorts of stuff can surface. That's why it's so important to approach these practices with a healthy attitude, maybe even under the guidance of an experienced teacher.
Right.
We'll talk more about the potential challenges and how to work with them in the next part of our deep dive. But for now, just remember that even those intense dream experiences can be valuable opportunities for growth and insight.
Okay, that's reassuring. So we've covered a lot of ground in this first part, from dream journals to deity visualizations, from the basics of lucid dreaming to the philosophical depths of dream yoga. I'm already feeling my mind expanding. What's coming up next?
In the next part, we'll explore those potential challenges in more depth, including those unusual meditation experiences called nyams. We'll also delve into how you can use lucid dreaming and dream yoga to work with fear, to enhance your creativity, and to gain a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you.
Ah.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to our exploration of lucid dreaming and dream yoga.
I'm ready to dive back in.
Hmm.
Before we left off, you mentioned those NAMs, those unusual meditation experiences that can pop up during dream yoga practice. What are those all about?
They can be pretty intense.
Oh, okay.
Nyams are often described as like spontaneous bursts of energy or unusual sensations that can arise during meditation or dream practice.
Okay.
They could be anything from a feeling of bliss to nausea,
Oh.
dizziness, or even visions of light.
Whoa. Okay.
Wallace provides some pretty vivid examples in the book.
Right.
And it's clear that these experiences can be quite disorienting, especially in the middle of a dream.
Yeah, I bet. So how do I even know if what I'm experiencing is a genuine yam or just, a bad dream?
That's a great question.
Yeah, or something.
And Wallace actually addresses that directly in the book.
Okay, good.
He emphasizes that it's crucial to distinguish between genuine yams and medical conditions.
Yeah, of course.
If you have any doubts or if the experiences are causing distress, it's always best to consult a doctor.
Right, safety first.
Absolutely.
But assuming it is a genuine yam, what does it even signify?
Wallace suggests that these yams can actually be signs of progress,
Oh.
like a kind of purification process as you delve deeper into the substrate consciousness.
Yeah.
Think of it like shaking up a snow globe.
Okay.
As you engage in these practices, you're stirring up those deep-seated karmic imprints
Right.
that might be shaping your experiences.
So it's like those imprints are coming to the surface, making themselves known.
Exactly. And while some of those experiences might be pleasant,
Uh-huh.
others might be challenging or even frightening.
Okay, yeah.
Wallace also talks about the possibility of encountering fear in dream yoga,
Mm.
even facing your worst nightmare.
Okay, this is where I start to get a little hesitant. I'm not sure I'm ready to confront a giant spider in my dreams,
I hear you.
even if I know it's not real.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
But dream yoga suggests that those fears we experience in dreams, and often in waking life as well, are rooted in our clinging to the illusion of solidity.
Okay.
This idea that things are permanent and unchanging. By facing those fears in a lucid dream, we can learn to let go of that grasping and experience a deeper sense of freedom and peace.
So it's like exposure therapy, but for the dream world.
That's a good analogy.
Mm-hmm.
And Wallace shares some incredible advice from Padmasambhava,
Okay.
the 8th century Indian master who brought these dream yoga teachings to Tibet.
Right.
Instead of running from a scary dream figure, Padmasambhava suggests that you try jumping right into it.
Wait, what? You're telling me that if I'm being chased by a monster, I should just let it catch me? That sounds terrifying.
I know it might sound counterintuitive,
Yeah, a little bit.
but the idea is to break through that fear by experiencing it fully, by recognizing its insubstantial nature. Remember those teachings on emptiness?
Right.
Even a terrifying monster in a dream is ultimately empty of inherent existence. It's a projection of your own mind.
Okay, I'm starting to see the logic here, but it still takes a lot of courage.
It does. But Padmasambhava suggests that by repeatedly confronting those fears in a lucid dream,
Right.
you can eventually transform them into a state of samadhi, a profound meditative absorption.
So you're saying I can turn my nightmares into enlightenment fuel? That's a pretty amazing concept.
It is, and it highlights the transformative potential of dream yoga.
Right.
It's not just about having cool dreams. It's about using those dreams to work with our deepest fears and anxieties, those patterns that might be holding us back in both our dream life and our waking lives.
I'm starting to see how this goes way beyond just entertainment.
For sure.
But what about those deeper levels of consciousness you mentioned earlier? Can we actually use lucid dreaming and dream yoga to break through to that primordial consciousness, that ultimate state of pure awareness?
That's a big question.
Mm-hmm.
And Wallace certainly explores it in the book.
Good.
He suggests that by dissolving the dream while maintaining lucidity,
Okay.
your awareness can descend into the substrate consciousness and potentially even break through to that pristine awareness.
Wow.
It's like diving through the layers of reality to experience your true nature.
That sounds incredible, but also a bit daunting. Do I need to be a meditation master to even attempt something like that?
It's definitely advanced territory,
Yeah.
but Wallace provides guidance and encouragement for those who are drawn to that path.
Okay.
And remember, even if we don't reach that ultimate goal in this lifetime,
Right.
the practices of lucid dreaming and dream yoga can still offer profound benefits in our everyday lives.
That's good to hear. I'm still wrapping my head around all of this.
Yeah.
It's like opening up a whole new dimension of experience.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And Wallace does a beautiful job of weaving together the practical techniques of lucid dreaming with the philosophical depth of dream yoga.
Mm-hmm.
He provides a roadmap for exploring these inner landscapes.
Right.
But he also emphasizes that it's a personal journey,
Oh,
a
yeah.
process of discovery and experimentation.
That's exciting. It's like we're given the tools and then invited to create our own adventure.
Right.
But I'm also curious about the practical applications of lucid dreaming and dream yoga.
Yeah.
Beyond the spiritual and psychological aspects, how else can we use these practices? Can we actually put our dreams to work, so to speak?
Absolutely. Wallace devotes an entire chapter to exploring the diverse applications of these practices.
Wow.
For starters, lucid dreaming can be a playground for creativity and fun.
Yeah.
Imagine designing your own dream adventures,
That sounds fun.
exploring fantastical worlds,
Right.
even flying through the air.
Who wouldn't want that? It's like having your own personal virtual reality simulator, but without the clunky headset.
Exactly. And beyond just entertainment, lucid dreaming can be a powerful tool for problem solving and personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
Wallace talks about using dream rehearsal to improve performance in sports music or even public speaking.
So I could practice that big presentation I'm dreading or that tricky piano piece in my dreams and then carry that confidence and skill into my waking life. That's amazing.
It is. And because dreams often tap into our subconscious,
Right.
they can offer valuable insights into our emotions,
Okay.
motivations, and even those unresolved issues that might be holding us back in our waking lives. It's like having a therapy session with your own inner wisdom.
It's like our dreams are trying to tell us something, and lucid dreaming gives us the ability to listen and to engage in that dialogue.
Exactly. And lucid dreaming allows you to interact with those dream characters, those symbols from your subconscious,
Okay.
and potentially work through those challenges in a safe and creative environment.
I'm starting to see how powerful these practices can be,
Yeah.
not just for exploring our inner worlds, but also for enhancing our waking lives.
It's a really powerful tool.
And Wallace shares some inspiring examples from his own experience and from other lucid dreamers.
Yeah.
He talks about overcoming fears,
Right.
finding creative solutions, even experiencing profound healing through dream work.
It's amazing.
That's incredible. It sounds like there's really no limit to what we can explore and achieve through these practices.
Right.
But are there any ethical considerations we should be aware of?
That's a great point.
Just because it's a dream, does that mean we can do whatever we want?
Wallace emphasizes that even in dreams,
Okay.
our intentions and actions have consequences, shaping our mental and emotional patterns.
Yeah.
It's about bringing that same sense of responsibility and awareness into the dream world.
So it's not about indulging in every fantasy or acting out every impulse.
Right.
It's about using those dream experiences wisely and compassionately.
Exactly. And he also talks about the possibility of receiving teachings or guidance from dream figures. But he cautions against blindly accepting everything you encounter in a dream.
Right.
Just as in waking life, it's important to use discernment and critical thinking to evaluate those experiences.
So it's like that old saying, trust but verify,
Exactly.
especially when you're dealing with dream gurus.
Right. And in the final chapter of the book, Wallace provides some incredibly insightful answers to questions he's received from his students
Oh, cool.
about lucid dreaming and dream yoga.
Okay.
He offers practical tips, addresses common challenges, and even delves into some of the more esoteric aspects of these practices. It's like having a personal guide to help you navigate this fascinating and sometimes confusing territory.
That's so valuable. And I love how he emphasizes that there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
It's about finding what works best for you,
Exactly.
whether that's focusing on dream signs, reality checks, or even experimenting with different meditation techniques.
Exactly. It's about becoming your own dream scientist,
Oh, I like that.
exploring those inner realms,
Right.
and discovering what resonates with you. And he provides specific guidance on how to maintain stability and vividness in a lucid dream. Because it's easy to get excited and then suddenly wake up.
Oh, I've definitely experienced that. Any tips on how to stay in that lucid state for longer?
He shares some techniques that might sound a bit strange,
Okay.
but apparently work wonders, like spinning your dream body or giving it a rub down.
Yeah, dream rub down. Okay, I'm willing to try anything to stay in that lucid state.
And he also talks about how to deal with a fading dream.
Right.
If your dream persona is disembodied, he suggests using anticipation or projection to keep the dream going.
Okay.
For example, you might imagine a friend appearing on a country road driving a cool Maserati.
Okay.
That expectation can help solidify the dream and keep it from dissolving.
It's like giving your subconscious mind a creative prompt,
Yeah.
a nudge in the right direction.
Exactly. And he even addresses those dreams where you're just a disembodied observer,
Okay.
suggesting that those experiences might offer insights into your sense of self, or even your connection to something larger than yourself.
Okay.
It's fascinating how even those seemingly mundane dream experiences can hold hidden meaning.
Right. Okay, I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
But before we move on, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
This concept of the process of delusion that Wallace talks about. Could you elaborate on that a bit more?
Of course. The process of delusion is a central theme in both lucid dreaming and dream yoga. It's this idea that we often mistake our thoughts and perceptions for reality, both in our dreams and in our waking lives.
And he draws a parallel between the way we become deluded in a dream and the way we might be deluding ourselves in waking life.
Precisely. He uses the example of misperceiving someone as a jerk just because of a single interaction.
Right.
We might cling to that judgment without considering the full context, the other person's perspective, or even the possibility that our own perception is skewed.
That's a powerful reminder to question our assumptions.
Yeah.
To recognize that our experience is often shaped by our own biases and interpretations.
Exactly. And Wallace suggests that this process of delusion is rooted in ignorance,
Okay.
a lack of awareness about the true nature of reality.
So both lucid dreaming and dream yoga offer us a way to break free from that cycle of delusion,
Yeah.
to wake up to a more expansive and compassionate understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
Exactly. And while the ultimate goal of enlightenment might seem far off,
Sure.
even just recognizing those moments of delusion in our daily lives can be a profound step forward.
It's about cultivating that critical reflective awareness,
Right.
that ability to step back and question our perceptions,
Yeah.
our judgments, and even our deeply held beliefs.
And to recognize that just as a dream can shift and transform, so too can our understanding of reality. It's an ongoing process of awakening, both within our dreams and in our waking lives.
This has been incredibly insightful,
I'm glad to hear it.
but I'm curious, how does this all tie back to the concept of emptiness
That's a great question.
that we talked about earlier?
And it brings us to the heart of the connection between lucid dreaming, dream yoga, and Buddhist philosophy. The practice of recognizing the process of delusion directly relates to the understanding of emptiness.
Okay, all ears.
When we see through the illusory nature of our perceptions and judgments, we begin to glimpse the emptiness of inherent existence. Just as a dream character lacks a solid, independent self,
Right.
so too do our own thoughts, emotions, and even our sense of self.
So by recognizing the dreamlike nature of our experience,
Yeah.
we're also recognizing the emptiness of inherent existence.
Exactly.
It's all interconnected.
But so realization can be incredibly liberating. When
Right.
we let go of the grasping and clinging to a fixed sense of self in a solid world,
Yeah.
we open ourselves to a more spacious and compassionate way of being.
This is mind-blowing. It's like everything we've talked about is converging into this profound understanding of the nature of reality and our place within it. But how do we actually bring this understanding into our everyday lives?
That's a great question, and something we'll explore further in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
But for now, just hold on to this sense of wonder and
I
possibility.
will.
The insights we've gained from exploring lucid dreaming and dream yoga can illuminate our waking lives in profound ways.
I'm excited to see where this journey takes us. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into lucid dreaming and Tibetan dream yoga.
It's been a fascinating journey, hasn't it? Exploring these realms of consciousness.
It really has. Before the break, we were talking about that process of delusion and how it relates to the concept of emptiness.
Right.
It's mind-bending, this idea that our perceptions and judgments can create such a distorted view of reality.
It is a profound concept, and both lucid dreaming and dream yoga can really help us grasp it more fully
Right.
by recognizing the dreamlike nature of our experience.
Yeah.
We start to see through that illusion of solidity, of inherent existence.
Right.
We start to glimpse the emptiness that lies at the heart of all phenomena.
And you mentioned that this realization can be so liberating. Can you talk about that a little more?
Sure.
What does it actually mean to experience this sense of freedom, in our everyday lives?
Imagine carrying a heavy backpack full of rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Each rock represents a fixed belief, a judgment, a fear, all weighing you down.
Yeah.
As you awaken to the emptiness of those beliefs and judgments, it's as if those rocks gradually dissolve. The backpack becomes lighter,
Okay.
and you can move through the world with greater ease and freedom.
That's such a powerful image. It's like releasing those burdens that we've been carrying for so long, often without even realizing it.
Exactly. And as we let go of those rigid perceptions, we create space for a more open and compassionate way of being.
Right.
Become less reactive, more responsive. We see the world with fresh eyes, appreciating the interconnectedness of all things.
It's like we're waking up from a dream, not just in our sleep, but in our waking lives as well.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And Wallace emphasizes that this process of awakening is ongoing. It's not like a destination.
Right.
It's a journey of continuous discovery and transformation.
So it's not about achieving some perfect state of enlightenment,
No.
but about cultivating a more mindful and compassionate way of being.
In each moment.
Right.
Exactly. And he reminds us that even small moments of awareness, those little glimpses of emptiness that we experience in our daily lives, can have a ripple effect,
Right.
gradually shifting our perceptions and transforming our relationship with the world.
It's like those small cracks in a sidewalk that eventually widen and create new pathways.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And he talks about how this shift in perspective can even influence our understanding of life and death. He discusses the Buddhist concept of the continuity of consciousness.
The continuity of consciousness. Okay, what's that all about?
It's the idea that our awareness doesn't just vanish when we die,
Okay.
but continues on in some form. This is a core belief in Buddhism,
Right.
often referred to as reincarnation.
So it's suggesting that death is not the end, but a transition to a new state of being.
Exactly. And it raises some fascinating questions about the nature of consciousness, the
Yeah.
self,
Right.
and even the possibility of influencing our future lives through our actions and intentions in this life.
It's a big shift from the materialist worldview that's so common in the West,
It is.
which often sees consciousness as just a product of the brain.
It's definitely a different perspective,
Yeah.
and one that Wallace explores with a very open mind.
Right.
He draws on insights from quantum physics philosophy, even personal experiences, to challenge those assumptions and to open up the possibility of consciousness that exists beyond the physical body.
So he's not presenting this as dogma,
No.
but inviting us to consider these possibilities and see what resonates.
Exactly. And he talks about how this belief in the continuity of consciousness can actually enhance our motivation for spiritual practice.
How so?
It's not just about this one lifetime you see.
Okay.
It's about cultivating wisdom and compassion that can benefit us across many lifetimes.
It adds a whole new dimension to the path.
It does.
A sense of purpose and continuity.
Right.
That can inspire us to keep practicing even when things get tough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he also acknowledges that many people are skeptical about reincarnation.
Right.
This idea that it's just wishful thinking or a cultural belief. He encourages us to approach these concepts with an open mind, to explore the evidence and see what resonates with our own experience.
So don't just take his word for it. Investigate for yourself.
Exactly. And he talks about the research that's been done on near-death experiences, past life memories, and other phenomena that suggest the possibility of consciousness surviving bodily death.
It's fascinating stuff.
It is. And while he acknowledges that there's no definitive proof,
Right.
he presents a compelling case for taking these possibilities seriously. But he also emphasizes the importance of not getting too caught up in those intellectual debates,
Okay.
but rather focusing on the practical aspects of these practices, on cultivating that direct experience of awareness of presence, both in our dreams and in our waking lives.
So it's not just about believing in reincarnation or understanding the philosophy, but about putting these teachings into practice, about living them.
Exactly. And that brings us back to the heart of both lucid dreaming and dream yoga, this idea of waking up,
Right.
of recognizing that much of our experience is shaped by our own thoughts, emotions, and perceptions,
Yeah.
and that we have the power to choose how we respond to those experiences, to break free from those habitual patterns of reactivity and delusion
It's about becoming more conscious, more intentional.
in both our dreams and in our waking lives.
Exactly. And Wallace leaves us with some profound questions to ponder.
He does.
Questions that can guide us on this ongoing journey of awakening.
Right.
If you could design your own lucid dream tonight, what would it be? And what might it reveal about your waking life? How can you bring that same sense of awareness and intentionality into your daily experiences? And what possibilities might unfold as you continue to explore these fascinating realms of consciousness?
Those are great questions.
They are questions worth contemplating as we wrap up our deep dive.
They are indeed. We've covered so much, from dream journals to deity visualizations, from the nature of reality to the continuity of consciousness.
We really have.
But ultimately, the real journey begins when you, our listener, close this podcast and step into your own experience.
Embrace the mystery, cultivate your awareness, and see what dreams may come. Sweet dreams.
And thank you for joining us on the deep dive.
We'll see you next time for another exploration into the depths of knowledge and insight. Until then, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep dreaming.